Boom.
This is Beancast, and episode 18 of Beancast. This is your host, Mr. Killer Bean himself, and who are you?
I am Samurai Beam.
All right, yeah, so this is episode 18 of the Long Day's Journey to Film podcast, and what are we going to be talking about today, Andy?
We will be talking about the original Nightmare Alley and
1947.
Carnival of Souls.
Yes, from 1962, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. This will be a spoiler discussion for both. So check out the YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're going to be posting some sort of movie collection video at some point. Hopefully before the new year. I'm not sure. But at some point soon, probably within the next month, we're going to be posting a movie collection video to the YouTube channel. So check that out if you want to see that. Get some exclusive YouTube only. Yeah, if you're on Apple Podcasts or any other site where you can rate something, rate us a high rating if you want to, or don't. Give us a low rating. I don't really care. As long as we get a rating. I'm starting to feel lonely over here with no ratings. Yeah, so shout out that. Shout out our Letterboxd. We have those linked down below. And shout out whatever Discord servers I have linked down below, because they're probably epic enough for me to fucking link them. So, yeah. Okay, so our first film we'll be discussing is Nightmare Alley. Not the new one. From 1947. Directed by Edmund Golding, I think it is. Goulding. It's not Golding, it's like Goulding. And this is a noir. Okay, so first off, why did we choose these two films? Because I was thinking they're both like older horror movies about carnivals, but then I realized not really. Nightmare Alley isn't a horror movie, and Carnival of Souls isn't about a carnival. It's got a carnival in it, but so these two films, they don't really go together, because I was also thinking they're both old, but they came out 15 years apart, so I don't know, I'm kind of a fucking idiot.
I don't know, I don't think they're too, I don't want to say too dissimilar, but they are also two very different films, but kind of similar. I don't know.
I suppose. I mean, Nightmare Alley is like a noir film. In a way, I don't know.
Nightmare Alley was going to have more kind of mysticalness to it, but
yeah, same. You know what? First off, let me just rant about something real quick. I don't think I know what the hell a noir film is. When I think of a noir film, I think of what a stereotypical what something parodying a noir film would be. You know, I don't know, hard-boiled detective smoking in black and white in an alley.
But Nick Cage in Spider-Verse.
Yeah. And that's what I think of. I mean, just because I'm a fucking idiot and I have not seen that much noir, especially older noir. Mostly I've just seen neo-noir stuff and most of that is kind of paying homage to a certain type of film, noir film from back in the day. But the actual older stuff, I recently watched this week. I recently watched for the first time Sunset Boulevard by Billy Wilder, and that's a noir film. And I was really expecting it to be a crime film, and then I realized, wait, it doesn't need to be a crime film to be a noir film. And so then I watched this, and I was like, okay, this is a crime film, but it's not the type of crime film I was thinking of. Yeah, so I was kind of an idiot. I didn't really know what the hell noir was. I was just thinking of what neo-noir is, at least from what I've seen of it. And this type of stereotypical noir tropes and stuff. So I don't know. So Nightmare Alley. What is Nightmare Alley about?
Fuck, I don't remember his fucking name because I saw it last week. Wait. Stanton Carlisle. Yeah, there we go.
Stan the man. Stan the water man. Because he got that drip.
I mean, he do get that drip. In the second half of the movie, he got the drip. But Stanton Carlisle is his name, and he's working as a kind of how do I fucking word it?
A carny.
Yeah, he's a carny. He's working at a carnival, and he's helping along with the mind reading act of Xena and her alcoholic husband Pete.
Yes.
But when Pete dies, Xena is forced to take Stanton on as a partner, and everything's kind of downhill from there. I don't want to say like downhill, like from that point explicitly, but I mean that's the gist of the movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like a rise and fall story, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting a All right, so I saw the trailer for the Guillermo del Toro remake. Is it a remake or is it just taking parts of the premise and kind of remaking it into something different? I'm not really sure. So I saw the trailer and it doesn't really look anything like this one. I mean, for the remake. But I saw that and it's like I kind of had an idea. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just something where I'm imagining it to be something else. It is kind of like I said about the noir thing. But like, I expected it to have like horror elements. And, like, it does have like a side of it that's like kind of a little bit mysterious. Like, is there like something mystical going on, possibly? But it's very light on that. It's actually pretty straightforward for the most part. Um, but yeah, it's Criterion Spine number 1078.
Wow, it has a criterion.
Yeah, yeah, it just came out recently. The Criterion of it,
Oh, interesting.
and both this and Carnival of Souls is on the Criterion channel. So shout
Yeah,
out that.
Criterion. Well, not Criterion. Carnival of Souls was Criterion because this is actually my second time seeing it. But we'll get to that. But
Yeah,
yeah, I also I guess just because of GBT's name attached to the reboot or remake. I don't know. I said reboot of the film. I expected, his classic weirdness.
yeah. It looks like a. I don't know. It looks interesting because like Guillermo del Toro is he's like a little bit hit or miss for me. Like I don't think any of his films that I've seen have like missed so hard that I like disliked it. I mean, I don't know. Just like some of his films I like way more than others. It's like a little bit, not that consistent for me, for my taste. But he's made some good films. So yeah,
I
I want to see it.
generally like everything he's done. I haven't seen The Shape of Water. That's the only one I haven't seen, but
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
I've liked everything I've seen. It's not that some obviously I dislike more than some obviously like more than I dislike, but yeah, enough about Guillermo. Let's talk about the original a bit.
Yeah. So let's see where to start.
So I guess we could start at the beginning with he's working at the carnival. He's just trying to make his way throughout the world, trying to get by every day. And he kind of has this sort of, I don't want to say affair, but
Yeah,
it kind of is.
he's like kind of having an affair with Xena, but he's also like friends with her like alcoholic husband Pete. Um, um,
And it's
I don't know. Are they
genuinely,
having an affair? I wasn't exactly like sure if they were or not. Maybe I
I
should
feel
look
like
this
it
up.
was, I don't want to say affair because I don't think they were like having sex behind his back or anything, but I feel
I
like
don't know.
they had a
I wasn't
mutual
sure if
interest.
that was the implication or not.
Oh, from what I could tell, it just seemed like a mutual interest in each other that couldn't really be a thing because of Pete.
Yeah. So yeah, Pete drinks. What is it like? 100% alcohol or like what the fuck is it
It's
called?
wood, it's wood alcohol, like you
Yeah.
said, but
Yeah.
basically it's like, what do you fucking call it? It's basically just like pure ethanol. I
Yeah.
want to say. Oh, it's methyl. My bad, not ethyl.
There's a really good scene when he's talking to Stan. He's doing like the mind reading thing, and he's like saying the general things. It's like connecting with Stan, and then he's like, oh, it's just I say things. It's like a universal or whatever, and it's like then I kind of piece it together and like hone it down into a more specific thing. That's not what he says, but like something like that. And it's I don't know. I really like this scene. It's kind of reincorporated later as well. But yeah, then he like drinks the wrong bottle, because like he gave him it. Stan gave it to him, and he thought he was giving him like the fucking like moonshine or whatever the fuck it was. So how do you feel about this film in general?
I liked it more than okay, so like I wanted to like it going into it.
Yeah.
Then I realized it was like a 1947 film, and I don't have like too great of a track record for older films.
Hmm.
So I was just really hoping it wasn't like dreadfully boring. And generally it wasn't, but it also wasn't like the most engaging film ever at the same time.
Yeah, I know what
Uh,
you mean. It's like I would never say any part of it is boring, and it always kept me like entertained with what was going on. You know, I like the characters and stuff, but I just feel like it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm contradicting myself, but like I feel like it wasn't. It didn't fully have me engaged with it the entire film. Like there are certain parts of it or certain elements of the story I was really into, um, but like other parts, I don't know. I just didn't really
yeah.
care. And I don't think it's the problem with it's old because like I don't know. I haven't really. This is like one out of like 4 movies I've seen from the 40s. So like I'm really like pre 1950s films. Or even pre 1960s films. I'm really not. I really don't know much about them. I haven't seen too many, but like there are films, older films that I really love, like from the 40s, the Italian film Bicycle Thieves. That's one of my favorite films ever, and like, so like I'm not. I don't really have a idea of what a film should be like, just depending on the era. Because like usually, like I think this film kind of feels, at least maybe it's even though I haven't seen much from this time period, it kind of feels ahead of its time in a way.
Yeah, it was surprisingly more modern than I was expecting it to be for its year.
Yeah, it didn't really feel like it's like a really old movie, but maybe that's just because I have an impression in my head of what a movie from the 40s should feel like.
Um, so as I was saying before we went off into this whole tangent about older films and our expectations, and I mean that kind of goes along with Carnival of Souls,
Hmm.
which I'll get to that later, but generally I think I enjoyed almost more.
Carnival of Souls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also enjoyed that film more, but
Not to say this film is bad by any means. It was all right. It was a very solid film overall. I don't think there's any huge parts of it that I thought were outstanding. The only two major scenes that I really liked were when they're in Chicago and they're finally made it to the big leagues and performing at these big fancy diners, whatever you want to call it, for the fucking rich folk. And he's wearing the
with the
blindfold.
with the mind reading act. Yeah,
Yeah, and he's wearing the fucking dapper suit and all. That whole segment is really good. I mean, that's probably like the whole second half of the film generally.
yeah, yeah. It's like I said, it is kind of like I don't know. It's not exactly like a rise and fall film, like say something like uh, I don't know, Goodfellas or something, or like Raging Bull. It's not really that type of thing, but it's like it is. It does kind of have that feel of.
I think I described it earlier while I was watching it as kind of a really long Twilight Zone episode.
I would.
That is,
I kind of feel more. I kind of feel more that for like Carnival of Souls.
I mean, it would apply in my opinion to both because I think this film generally teaches a lesson about uh greed. Because I would say Stanton in general really in, becomes an entitled, greedy man towards the latter half of the film.
Yeah, yeah. He's definitely a very. I don't know. He's very. He's a scumbag.
I
like
mean, yeah, he's a pretty shit person. I mean, obviously, the Pete thing was an accident, and you
yeah.
as the viewer knows that. But once he's famous in Chicago, he kind of almost settles into another affair in which he was kind of almost already in one from when he was a carny. So
Yeah, he kind of just goes in and out. I mean, I feel like whenever he's like doing something with the women in this film. He's always using them
Yeah.
to his advantage. Yeah, he's kind of using everyone. He's like playing everyone at once, which is interesting. I think he's an interesting character, and Tyrone Powers, he plays him very well. He's definitely my favorite part of the movie. I think he really makes it.
Stage name, though.
What?
Tyrone Powers? That's a fucking stage name if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how he's like very two-faced. Yeah, like he's never like completely an unsympathetic character. Like, yeah, he is like, he's a scam artist. He's like making people believe that like, oh, he's like, reading their minds. First, it starts with that, and then it's like, he's like taking advantage of the old lady, saying like, oh, I see your dead daughter. She's here in this room, which is, like you said, probably my favorite scene of the film.
Oh yeah.
He has the blindfold, and it's like, he's like walking over and saying, "I see her. She's like right here," and all that. It's like a really good scene. But like, he's never like such a. They never portray him as like he's like a he's like a complicated character. He's not just.
He's not like clearly a good guy and nothing more. He's got some shade to him.
Yeah, it's not just black and white.
And he takes
it's in black and white.
Of the situations he's provided.
Yeah.
And he's kind of got this charm to him, which, thinking to the Bradley Cooper casting, I've seen some criticism over that casting, and I haven't seen the movie.
Oh, for the remake, yeah.
Yeah, for the remake. Sorry. Give an opinion whether or not he's a good fit, but like generally, I would think Bradley Cooper and charming go together.
I guess. I don't know. I don't think Bradley Cooper has shit on Tyrone Powers as this role. I don't know. I'll have to see the movie. I've only seen like the one trailer for it, so I really can't say. But
I know Leonardo DiCaprio was originally attached in the role, which I think would have been great. But I don't. Again, I have not seen the movie, but I don't want to write off Bradley Cooper. But my general, what I was saying, is that Sam is very charming guy and uses that to his advantage.
Damn, your mic's cutting in and out.
Oh, shit. Tomatoes?
By the way, everyone, it's this may or may not be the last episode where Andy has very low quality audio.
A shit mic, as we like to call it in the studio business. Just kidding.
But
yeah, back to the film.
Yeah, because like it is about greed and kind of, I don't know, it's got a feel of like, I don't know, he's like pursuing the American dream. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like kind of like pursuing the American dream and trying to just make it, and like he's going from like making the scam bigger and bigger. Obviously starting at like a carny scam of like, or not a scam. It's like a carny trick. With the they have the code, which I think is an interesting element of the movie. Is the 2-person code. That's kind of an interesting plot line. Like it's a bit far fetched. I'm not sure if that's exactly you could do something like that, but like I don't know. It's with the to make it look like they're mind reading. The one person will like say the question or
that
speak something and say it in like a certain way. And so it's like there's certain words that mean certain words, and a certain way you say it means different things. I don't know. It's very complicated. It doesn't really. I'm not sure if you could do that, but you might. I like that element of the movie. But it starts as like a rigged carny trick, and then it gets bigger and bigger until it's like this big scam. And he's gonna build a. What the fuck is he gonna build? The guy gives him money. He's gonna. What is he gonna build?
I don't remember.
A tabernacle.
A tabernacle.
Yeah, and like
that's a word.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's just. I feel like it sounds more interesting than I actually found it when I was watching it. Like I don't know. I feel like I should like this movie more. Maybe I will on rewatch, but like I just wasn't really. I don't know. There's like parts of it. There's moments in it that I think are like really good. Like I said, the parts with when he's doing the mind reading, and I like all the scenes with him and the what the fuck is her name? The like she's like a psychiatrist. forget what her name is, but I like all his interactions with her, and I like the early scenes with like Pete. You know, the scene when he's doing like the mind reading thing, like I said. But I don't know, just like the rest of the movie is just kind of. I don't really want to say it fell flat, but I just didn't really care.
I think it about peaked mid-mark for me, then started falling down when it got a bit complicated with the fucking affairs and shit and trying to scam a millionaire out of money. Or he's probably not a fucking millionaire. It's the fucking 40s, but you get my
Yeah,
point. But yeah, it falls. And then I think toward like near the very end, like, oh, it's going to end on a high note, and then it doesn't.
yeah. I'll get to the ending. I have some thoughts on the ending. That's actually one of the things. Fuck it, we can talk about it now. That's like one of the things that takes it down a notch for me. But like not really because I don't really care. It's like so the ending. Should we just talk about the ending? Fuck it.
Fuck it, go.
So you know he. All right, let's see what happens.
He
Stan
has
is
nowhere. He's trying to
he
scam a millionaire out of money. He
yeah
fails. So
yeah he like convinces it. Oh, fuck, the plot's kind of complicated, but it's also not. He like convinces the guy that he can read his mind and that he's talking to his dead lover from like 30 years ago. Because he has access to the psychiatrist woman's like recordings of her patients when they talk about their dreams and stuff. Um, and which is an interesting scam, but like I really don't see how far they could get with that because it's like I don't know how far could he really get with like pretending to read people's minds if he only has access to like that woman's patients recordings. Anyway, but yeah, he convinces the guy that like you know he actually does have psychic powers, and then he says, "Oh, I actually want to see her." And then like you know he gets his wife to dress up as her, and then she fucks it up. She like fucks up the whole thing.
yeah,
Which is fair, I guess. I mean, they are kind of being scumbags, you know, exploiting someone from their I don't know,
money.
unresolved.
What? Exploiting them for their money?
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, unresolved grief. My
yeah,
bad.
they're like exploiting their unresolved grief for money. So yeah, you know, he's like a shitty person, but like yeah, she fucks it up, and then the whole thing goes downhill. You know, he doesn't you know he doesn't have his reputation anymore. He's like getting the police are after him. There's that odd scene when he goes to the psychiatrist. Fuck, what the hell is her name? I just keep saying the psychiatrist lady. Um,
Um, Lilith?
Lilith? What the fuck?
Ritter? Lilith Ritter? That's her
Ritter?
name.
Lilith Ritter. Yeah, all right. Lilith. Anyway, I'm just gonna say the psychiatrist lady because I'm not fucking saying Lilith. Yeah, she's like kind of like gaslighting him. She's saying like, "Oh, you never actually did any of it. You're one of my patients, and you made yourself think that you're a mind reader." Which is weird because I thought it was gonna be like a twist. I thought like the ending twist was gonna be that oh, this whole time he's actually just imagining that he's doing all this. But it's not. It's just like that one scene, and then he like leaves. Oh, that was like an odd scene for me. Like it wasn't a bad scene, but it was like, wait, what? Like it confused me. Yeah, and and then okay, so he's like, that's another thing. I feel like his like downward spiral goes a little bit too quick. It just kind of cuts to like, all right, now he's like homeless and he's like drinking with all the like homeless guys.
And
I don't know.
he's
It just
playing
felt
the
like too.
geek,
What?
which is he's playing the role of the geek for this
No,
new carnival that he's playing.
well, first he's
Oh,
yeah, he does
oh.
they recreate the mind reading scene that Pete did earlier. Which like I can tell what they're saying. It's like, oh, he's like hitting rock bottom, but like I feel like it didn't need to be that on the nose of like actually recreating the exact same scene. I don't know. I feel like that was a little bit, I don't know, too obvious of a way of like a reincorporation of that. He's doing it with like the homeless guys and like the homeless drunks, and then goes to the carnival and they offer him the job of the geek, which is like what the fuck is it? Just like they act like they're like a crazed
Yeah,
half animal, half person. Is he man or is he beast? And Yeah, like they have that earlier, and apparently there was like uh in the original cut of the movie, there was like several like gruesome scenes where the geek is like ripping apart chickens and stuff, but like
Oh,
they had to cut
yeah.
it out because it's like too much for the 40s,
God
I
damn
guess,
it.
which sucks. Like I'd love to see that. I don't know. I saw that in the IMDb trivia, but yeah, and then he is offered the job of being the geek, but then like all of a sudden he's like completely like also insane. I'm not sure if they like pump him up with some kind of drugs or something, but like I don't know, like what kind of time passage was it from when he took the job as the geek to when you see him running around like a crazed lunatic?
I don't know. It's not really divulged apart. That's the right word. Yeah.
Divulged upon?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's like, oh, he has a new job. Oh, here's this. Oh, and it's over.
yeah, like I feel like it was just like maybe I don't know. It just felt like it was too rushed of his of the fall. It was like the whole movie is like him, scamming his way to the top. That's just like all right, it's done. It's over. He goes to he now he's like a homeless drunk, and then he's the geek. And now he's completely insane. And I really expected it to end right there when it's like panning out and he's like running around and they're chasing him. And I thought, oh man, okay, so this is it. This is like you see him as like because like they were talking about the geek earlier in the movie and how it's like is it even ethical to like have someone like that because they think it's like he's like actually like yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the like country like marshal guy comes up and he's like what are you doing here, is this isn't ethical, and then he like kind of he like does, or Stan does the Pete's mind reading thing on him to kind of trick him out of not arresting him. And the guy James Burke who plays the marshal, I know I've seen him somewhere before. His face is so familiar, but I can't place where I've seen him. And I looked him up, and like I don't recognize anything else he's been in. Maybe I'm just thinking he's someone else. But anyway, I got off track. Yeah, like you see the geek early in the movie, and that's just kind of like this like, and then like he ends up in that exact place, which is like a really dark spot to end the movie. But there's like a weird like happy ending, I guess. He's like the girl that Molly, I think is her name.
Yeah.
She's like, Stan, it's you. I haven't seen you in forever or whatever, because like that was his wife. And then he's like, oh, okay, so I guess it's not that. He's just like he like snaps out of it, and then he's okay. Like okay, like it's just such a like cheesy like forced ending, and like I really don't even care because it's like I know the book. This is based on a book. The book ended right there when they're chasing him around, or like after he becomes a geek. That's where it ends, and it's like a really dark ending. But like the studio, they said it was too much of a downer note to end it on, of course, and so they just tacked on that stupid happy ending. Which like maybe it's not that bad, but like I just feel like it kind of takes away the the emotional like punch of the where the film was going. I feel like that was like a natural or not natural. I feel like that was a good conclusion to the character of Stan, with him becoming the geek. Like, I mean, it's really dark, but like, I don't know. I feel like that it's kind of like, I don't know. It just feels stupid. It feels like the I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but the ending of the book, A Clockwork Orange, ending chapter, which they like apparently like made the author, like tack on, to make it like end happy, or, like have like a positive ending. And at least that's what I think the story is.
Feel like it should have just, like you said, ended more ambiguously.
Yeah.
I mean, for part, I thought he was gonna die. I
Hmm.
thought the ending was gonna be him fucking like dying the same way, like kind of Pete dies, but not exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have the Disney Channel the fuck out of it, I guess.
Yeah, that was it. Wasn't necessary. It was really yeah, I didn't like that. I mean, that kind of bumped it down after I watched it. Like when I just finished watching it, that like kind of bumped down my rating for it. But like now that I think about it, that just being a tacked on ending, I can just kind of ignore that and think of it as how it was supposed to end, the like proper ending. I don't know. It's still a good character arc. I think it's an interesting character arc where Stan's goes, from the beginning to the end, even if there is a stupid happy ending thrown on. I don't know. What else do you have to say about this movie?
I don't know. Do I really have much more to say about it?
Hmm.
I genuinely have much more to say about Carnival of Souls.
Yeah, I don't think I have much more to say either. This wasn't. I haven't seen either of these films we were talking about before, so it was a bit of a gamble. Whether I'd have a lot to say or not. But I don't know. I think it was a good enough discussion.
I mean, that's all. That's about all I gotta say about this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a solid 6 out of 10 for me. I was thinking about giving it a 7. I might give it a 7 if I rewatch it. But I don't know. It's just like a solid noir scam type movie, if that makes sense. I like that type of thing. Like I don't know. I really like the character of Stan, and Tyrone Powers is great in it. And yeah, it's like I said, it's got some really good moments, but in general, I just didn't really. I wasn't fully into it the entire movie. Yeah. So, how would you rate it?
Probably about the same. I'd give it a 6. I was thinking about giving it a 7, like you said, but it's a 6 for
But
me.
yeah, I need to catch up on some older films, from the '40s and some older noir as well, because it's a genre I really don't know much about. So, what would you say is your favorite scene in it? Because that was something we were going to do, is say what our favorite scene from a movie is.
Yeah, the ending. I'm kidding.
I mean, I do like the ending scene when they're chasing him and he's the geek, but then they ruin it. But yeah, I really like the scene with the old lady, with the
yeah,
when
that's probably
he
my
makes her think that
favorite as
the
well.
daughter is there, the dead daughter.
Yeah. That is the pardon my affliction. But yeah, that's about the peak of the film.
Yeah. So Carnival of Souls.
Yeah.
So Carnival of Souls is a horror movie from 1962, directed by Herc Harvey. And it is. I've wanted to see this movie for a while, because I always heard things about it which were good, and I was just really interested. And I don't know, I've been wanting to watch it for a while, but I've just been putting it off for no reason. And I finally got to see it, and it's Criterion Spine number 63.
Nice. One of the first Criterions, or
Yeah,
one of the first 100, I was thinking.
yeah. It's I know it had DVD, a Criterion DVD, early on, but I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong about this, but it just got the Blu-ray fairly recently, within the past couple of months. I think I might be wrong. It got
Yeah.
a re-release.
Because I think I heard something about Criterion phasing out DVDs except for the films that it's hard to already find copies of,
Yeah,
moving toward Blu-ray and 4K.
it's pretty good movie. All right, over. See you next week.
Uh, okay, so yeah, Carnival of Souls, 1962, directed by Herc Harvey, who also has a role in the movie, a
Yes,
non-speaking role.
as the man.
Yes,
He the man.
it's about the story of this young woman, Mary. The movie opens up and they're racing cars throughout the streets of fucking Kansas, which is nothingness. And they drive off a bridge,
And they
and
fucking die.
everyone else dies. And then, like 3 hours later, after it happens, she swams ashore, and it follows her life. She is distraught, and she moves town, and she becomes fascinated with this old abandoned carny site, and she stays in a fucking what is it house with two other people.
This is a very, I don't know. It gets directly into it. It does not waste time, and I
It's a
really respect
very
that.
yeah. It's pretty. I don't know why it has running time as 80 minutes on Wikipedia when it was like I want to say about 70 minutes.
72 minutes, I think.
Yeah, 72 minutes, and it doesn't really feel. I would say it feels like about an hour long.
Yeah, it really. You mentioned in the Nightmare on Elm Street. That's not it. The Nightmare Alley discussion that it felt like a long Twilight Zone episode. I
Yeah.
haven't seen any of the Twilight Zone. I've been wanting to watch it for a really long time,
Oh
but
wow.
this feels like what I imagined Twilight Zone to be like. It feels like a long Twilight Zone episode of what I imagined the Twilight Zone to feel like.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate, and I'd say I'm pretty sure there is an episode of Twilight Zone that's similar to this.
Hitchhiker. I
Even
saw that in the IMDb trivia.
I did find that like little intro scene just a bit corny. I mean, I know it's fucking 62, but it was as they were fucking speeding. I'm like, oh wow, this is kind of fast for a 60s movie. And then they get to the bridge and it's like they're barely driving. I'm like, this is speed.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't give something a pass for being cheesy because it was from 1962. Because fucking Psycho came out in 1962. Wait, or that come out in 1960?
Even worse if it came out in 1960 because Carnival of Souls is. I mean, I
Yeah.
think this movie is
Oh yeah,
particularly
Psycho is
well done.
1960. Sorry. What?
I'm pretty sure this film was particularly low budget.
Yeah, yeah. I watched a little bit of a it was an interview. Who the fuck was it? It was like a writers on The Simpsons or some shit. But I watched like a little interview with someone who was like a big fan of it on the Criterion channel, and they talked a little bit about the behind the scenes, and there's some interesting stuff. And yeah, it is like a very low budget film, and like for what they had making this, they definitely use everything to their advantage. Like I don't feel like there's anything in this that's like I don't know. I feel like it doesn't shoot for being more than it should be, so it never feels like it's going for too much. And like
I say, yeah, I'd agree.
yeah, and yeah, just really, and this is also very influential. I know George Romero. He said this was a big influence for him, and you can definitely see bits of this film in a lot of other films, especially like Night of the Living Dead. Some of the scenes towards the end, very much kind of feel a little bit of influence there.
It was
Dave.
also an influence on Lynch, David Lynch.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Oh,
Yeah, he's. I know he said that this is like one of his favorite films, and the character of the man played by fucking the director Herc Harvey. It's funny because that's where I first heard of this film. Is someone referencing it in reference to Robert Blake's character in the David Lynch film Lost Highway, and it's very much like that character. It's kind of like I don't know how to describe it. It's like someone trying to escape their past and having it follow them in like a weird, like dreamlike state. And it's kind of like it's like a, I don't know, they're like a manifestation of like their this like negative force of something like in their past or whatever. Like, following. What the fuck am I talking about? Yeah, it's very much like Robert Blake's character in Lost Highway. There's even a particular shot. I won't go too much into Lost Highway. That's a whole other fucking thing to talk about. But there's a shot in this film when which is probably my favorite scene in the movie when she's playing the organ and she sees all the dead people dancing in the carnival. But there's a shot where the guy, I don't know, it's the creepy guy, the man, whatever. He's like walking towards the camera with his hands out. That's like very much directly referenced in Lost Highway with a similar character who has a white face and kind of shows up as like this intimidating presence for the protagonist. And that exact shot is kind of referenced, which is interesting.
I was gonna say you can very much see where David Lynch got his inspiration from in those scenes where I guess you could say souls are kind of just dancing. It
Yeah,
reminded me of Twin Peaks.
yeah. There definitely is a little bit of this film in Twin Peaks.
Klaus Schau, shawty.
um, and what the? Just there's a
Yeah,
funny thing I want to say, but like I don't want to cut directly to the ending because there's more I want to say about this film. But it's just I don't know. It's really funny to me. All right, so should we talk about the ending a little bit, just so I can make this reference?
yeah, go ahead.
So basically, it ends, and you see him pulling out the car, which they crashed in, and
Yeah.
her body is in there. Mary, the protagonist. So it's almost like, all right, so she was dead the whole time. And what's funny to me is that is literally how Hellraiser Hellseeker begins and ends. If you remember, it's the second straight to DVD Hellraiser movie, and it's literally the same exact beginning and ending, and it's the same twist as well. So that's funny. Shout out Hellseeker.
I didn't quite make that connection somehow, but I thought
Yeah,
it was funny how they like first showed a shot of her in the car and her face is pointed like outside the window, but when they go back to her, it's looking like at the camera, but eyes are closed, like she
yeah,
was. I'm like, that's a very obvious continuity error, but okay.
yeah. Um, it's not like technically perfect. I mean, there are like some technical elements that are a bit off. Like early on, I think it's like in the scene when they're or there's several parts, but I really noticed it when they're the guys are talking about like, oh, what happened here, and they're like trying to find the car at the beginning after it crashes, and like the guy's talking, but his audio is like not synced up properly with his mouth.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like there are little things like that, but in general, I think the like technical elements of the film are like, especially for the budget, really well, very great, especially like the cinematography. It's very
yeah, that's the one thing. I don't remember if I mentioned that this is actually my second viewing of the film,
okay. Yeah, it was my first.
but it had been so fucking long. The audio was so low on my copy of the film that I barely knew what was happening.
Hmm. I feel like you can watch this movie without the audio and still kind of get a. I don't know. It's a very visual movie. There's a lot of good visuals. Um,
As I was saying, the cinematography is one aspect I do remember.
yeah, yeah, very clean black and white, which looks very nice. Especially, I mean, I think it was like a remaster on the Criterion Channel that I watched, but yeah, it looks great. And like, there's so many I don't know, there's so many like odd interactions with different people. Like at first, I thought it was just the acting was off, like maybe not the greatest, but like there's something like cold and like detached about the characters and the way they like talk to each other sometimes, especially Mary, the protagonist. And there's also like some weird shots of people. Like in particular, there's a shot when of the minister of his face. It's like a close up when Mary is playing the organ. It's like a weird close up that's like, I don't know, it's like off and like uncomfortable, and like I don't know. There's just something like disorientating about like some shots of the movie or like some parts of it. It's just like feels weird, and like it kind of makes sense. But like this whole thing is basically like a. I mean, I don't know. What's your interpretation of the film? Because it's like I want to say it's like, oh, the whole thing is like a dream, or it's just like it's all in our mind. But like I don't know. What's your interpretation of the what happens in the film in general? Because like there's several ways to look at it, kind of. But I don't know.
I kind of figured she was kind of like in a limbo state, and the people she
Yes.
was able to talk to were people also in that limbo state.
Yeah, because there's scenes when she talks to directly talks to characters like the doctor character or the landlady or a neighbor who's like kind of a creep.
Yeah,
He's just like trying to fuck, but like he's also like a weirdo. And but then there's other parts where it's like she'll interact with people or she's trying to interact with people, like when she's in the mall and like
Yeah.
it's like she doesn't even exist, which is, I don't know, very very creepy, very effective, those scenes. But yeah, it also reminds me of Lost Highway thematically. Like the, have you seen Lost Highway?
No.
Oh, all right, I won't. It's not really an easy movie to spoil because like it's very hard to understand parts of it. But yeah, it's kind of similar. Like the, David Lynch likes to play around with like dream stuff. Like it would make sense that he would like this film, or this would be a film that he inspired him.
Um. Oh yeah, you mentioned there's odd shots throughout, like the close up of the minister
Hmm.
when she was fucking drinking water from the water fountain at the park,
Oh
and
yeah,
she looks up, and it like for a moment I thought the guy was fucking blind because his face looks like wax. The old
yeah,
guy, sorry, old guy, but
like she looks up and like, all right, so throughout the film you keep seeing the man, or the guy with the white face. He's like this, like I don't know, I don't know what the hell he is. He's like a man. Fuck, I don't know what the word is, but he's like, you see him throughout. Like there's that first scene when you see him, which is very creepy. It actually kind of made me jump. It's not really a jump scare, but like it kind of is when he shows up in the window of the car when she's driving. Um,
yeah,
that creeped me out. That like I wasn't expecting it, and then like you see him a lot throughout the film, but it's like she's drinking water and she looks up and you don't see the guy's face, but like it's implied that she saw the man, and then yeah,
yeah,
like you're saying, he's like, she's talking to like the doctor guy, and the guy who was standing there, who's like at the water fountain, he's just like standing there and the camera just focuses on his face, but like the way the like expression on his face and like the way it like lingers, it's like too long. It makes it uncomfortable and weird. I don't know. I just really like that. It's got, the whole movie has like a very weird off feeling to it, which really adds to the atmosphere.
yeah. It's very you can definitely tell or it's implied that something's wrong from the get go.
Yeah,
Because I mean, there's that line at the beginning and toward the film where he's like throwing the fucking, I don't know what it is. It looks like a fucking like tin can on fishing wire. I don't know, to scrape the little fucking river. And he's
mm.
like, "Oh, it's been going on 3 hours. I don't think we're gonna find anything." And then she pops out. It's like there's no way she'd be able to fucking pop out after 3 hours.
Yeah, yeah. And that's also a great scene when she like walks out, and she's like all covered in mud. And also
Um,
there's a great cut. There's some good editing in this. I really like the editing in this film. But she like walks to her car and she gets in and like pushes the ignition, and then it cuts to her pushing like a
yeah,
switch or a button on the organ. Just like something about the way it's edited. It's like, I don't know. It's almost like dream logic or something. It's really, I don't know. I really like that. I
there's
love the way it's
actually
edited.
a similar shot to where she's freaking out and everything. Then she like suddenly wakes up and she's back in her car. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. Because she's like running around, and like I think it's after like she's starting to see the dead people, not just the guy. Um,
yeah,
but it's
more
when
than
she's, yeah, they're like coming out of the bus and stuff. I forget if they're chasing her or not, but like she's running around, and then she wakes up, or it's like she wakes up, but yeah, she's in her car. Also, there's a shot when I think it's after she talks to like the creepy, not really creepy, but he's like kind of weirdo, kind of the weird neighbor guy. And then like she closes the door and is standing there. And that's like it cuts,
oh,
and like her head is in the same position as she's in the mall. But something about that really gives it like a, I don't know, like a off-putting feel. Like none of it's actually happening or something. But yeah, there's also like the way to look at the film is like, when she's talking to the doctor and he's saying like, you're imagining these things because you had a very stressful, traumatic experience with the car crash. So it's almost like you could look at it as like, she's just kind of losing it. But I don't really know how that would work into the ending.
I mean, I think you could probably, or even the beginning, really.
Yeah,
But like, if we were to
the
argue
beginning
that,
is built into the ends next to New York.
uh, I mean, if we were to argue that the ending could make sense if she really was going crazy, I feel like she just probably jumped into the water. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, because like they after she finally goes to the carnival at night and sees all the dead people, which is a very creepy sequence. It's very effective. Like usually older films or really any film, they're not really scary or like they're not really creepy to me. But something about this, like, yeah, it didn't scare me. But like, I don't know, it was very creepy. Like, it was very effective. Like it's just simple. It's just people with like very obviously like caked on like white makeup on their faces. But it's just like the way they'll like pop up into the view of the camera and stuff in the like finale or the like ending scene. It's very creepy. And they're all chasing her, and they like finally like, catch up with her, and they're all like crowding around her. It's like the next day, and the people are like, or the sheriff or whatever, or policeman, they're like, what is it? They see like, oh, there's like a pair of footprints. And it's just like one pair of footprints. And it's like, oh, she disappeared here. I don't know. Something about it's just creepy. Because it's like the people are still doing things. Like, it's not just, it was all in her mind. Because it's like the characters or the other characters that she interact with each other away from her. So that's a little bit interesting. That adds like another layer to it.
Yeah.
It's not entirely just from her point of view.
Yeah. I was gonna say something, but I forgot. Again, I don't know. I feel like the film has that, like you said, going for it because it's still. I mean, it's very implied that she was dead the whole time from the get go, but there's elements that are like, oh wait, that doesn't fucking make sense
Yeah.
when looking at it in reverse or
Yeah,
looking
but
back at it, you can say.
yeah, not in a way that it's like, oh, the movie doesn't make sense as a plot hole, but more of like it adds another layer of like, wait, what is actually happening here? Um,
I thought the fucking lady that she was staying with looked like what's her name from SNL?
uh,
Like an older version of what's her name from SNL?
who from SNL?
Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon? What the fuck?
Yeah. She looked like an older version of Kate McKinnon to me.
To like old lady? That's like the landlord lady?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't catch that. I didn't think that, but
I thought the fucking creepy roommate, not roommate, neighbor looked familiar, but he didn't really have many acting roles. I think this was like his only big acting role.
hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I liked him in this. He was good. He played the like, I don't know, creep neighbor. I liked his character. He was like kind of a weirdo. I like the shot when he's, the shot when he's, she answers the door like in a towel, and then he's like looking through the door. She's like, putting on a bathrobe, and it's like a shot of his eye. It reminded me of Psycho. There's a similar shot in Psycho, um, of an eye.
There was a shot where she like visits the little abandoned carny site on her own in the daytime. Like she visits
Yeah.
it 3 times throughout the film. One with the priest, one on her own, and the ending. Um, but there was a shot where she's like, I don't know how to fucking describe it. There's like the little fucking she's walking under this thing and it like gives the light off in a checkered pattern.
Hmm. Can't quite
And
think of what you're
I
saying.
don't, uh, whatever, forget it.
I like that scene though, because it's like, I don't know, it's weird because like she tosses what is it, like a coin or something into the water, and you see the guy in there dead, or like the dead guy, that she's seen, but like she doesn't see him, which
Yeah,
also makes it creepy. It's like he's there, like that's where like she also has like like I mentioned before, the when she's having like a vision of all the dead people coming out of the water at the carnival and dancing, but like she doesn't see him there, which is creepy, and like she's walking around, and there's that great shot where she walks by like a sign, it's like a beach sign, and the lady on the sign looks like her, like it resembles her. and it's really creepy because it's like a painting. So it's like it's not quite, but it's like a blonde lady, and it really looks like her. It's got like the same hair and stuff. That was like a creepy little detail I noticed. I'm not even sure if it was intentional, but I'm pretty sure it was. Another thing I really liked about it is I like that all the music is organ music. Not that I particularly like organ music, but like it just it gave it such a great atmosphere.
Thing that goes along with that. I don't know if you noticed or not, but in the scenes where she's freaking out in the mall, there's no audio or like anything but her audio and the music.
Yeah, it's almost like a
And
silent
the
film.
occasional bird chirp, which seems to like signify something almost, but
Yeah, because she's running around and like she can't. I assume she can't hear anything anyone's saying, and then it's like she hears the bird, and she's like relieved to like finally hear something. Other
yeah.
than I'm not sure if she hears organ music too, because there's a scene when she's driving in the car early on, before she right before she sees the man for the first time, and she's like listening to the radio, and it's organ music, and she tries to change it, and all the stations are playing the same organ music, which is creepy. But it's like she's weirdly like not bothered by it, and it I don't know, it's stuff like that just kind of adds to her like detached. I don't know.
Sense of self.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you say you enjoyed the film, like overall?
I really love this actually. Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, I'll definitely be rewatching this. I need to get the fucking Criterion Blu-ray of it because it's I don't know. It's just I really enjoyed it. There's some good
I
'60s horror. There really is.
I thought it was all right. I liked it more
Yeah.
than Nightmare Alley for sure, but it's not an 8 exactly for me. It's a nice solid 7.
Okay. What would you say you disliked about it? Like, what are some of your gripes with it?
Ooh, good question. Um, I don't know. Like, I don't want to say like I don't know. It's like, oh, you didn't have any grapes. Why'd you rate it so low? Um,
7 out of 10 is like a good rating, but
yeah. I mean, I don't think I really disliked any particular quality of the film. It's just that I wasn't absolutely in love with it either. So it's just like a nice 7 for me.
okay.
I
Yeah, I would.
enjoyed it, but I don't hate anything about it. There's nothing really negative about it except for the minor technical aspects that are really just easy to look over.
Yeah, yeah. For me, for gripes, I would say nothing that takes it down too much. But I would say that it is a little bit repetitive in parts, with the same like kind of scare. It's not really a scare, like it's trying to like scare you, but like the same type of scene when she'll be doing something, then she'll see like the man or like the guy with the white face. It became a little bit predictable. Some of the scenes, like where it was going, with that, and also the organ music. Like I really love the organ music. It adds a great atmosphere, but like I don't know. I feel like maybe there are a few points where maybe it could have just been silent instead of that. I feel like
Yeah,
there are a few things that were a bit
I can
repetitive for me.
understand that.
And even though it's only like 70 minutes, I felt like it maybe could have been like 10 minutes shorter. If that makes sense. Like I feel like it could have just been like an hour long and worked just as well. But like it's not like the pacing in it is still good. And it's I really love it. Like it never drags, but like I feel like it was just maybe there are a few scenes in it that were like a little bit repetitive of scenes that you already saw several times before. Um, but yeah, that's about it for gripes. Also the technical thing, but like that didn't really bother me, especially considering how many good technical elements there are, and for it being such a low budget horror film from the early '60s. See, I have a few other notes here, and I'll give my rating. This is an odd, like, random note I wrote down. This movie would go great with the Nine Inch Nails song "Came Back Haunted." What the fuck?
Wait, what?
I don't know. I feel like you can take scenes from this and edit it together, like make a little YouTube video to the Nine Inch Nails
Oh,
song "Came Back Haunted." I don't know why that popped into my head, but like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I was thinking David Lynch and I associate David Lynch
like
with Nine Inch Nails for some reason. Because like he likes this film and there's like some But also the other thing I was going to point out, the director Herc Harvey. This is the only film he's made. I looked at his like filmography, and the rest of the stuff he's made is like educational shorts to like show in schools, like stuff like Halloween Safety and Stranger Danger and like why cheating in high school is bad, like that type of thing, like little shorts. And they're all like most of them are like fairly like lowly rated on Letterboxd. I mean, I haven't seen them, but like oh, that was interesting that he just like dropped this banger of a movie and then made a bunch of like stuff like how girls should act at parties. Short, okay. Also, there's a 1998 remake of this, and there's like clowns in it. There's like a killer clown.
No, that. How did this sneak past me?
Yeah, it's I saw it in the trivia. Something about the main actress here. Actress. The main actor. I forget what's her name. She's really good in this. Candice Hilligoss. Yeah. Candice Hilligoss. She like turned down like the opportunity to be like a cameo in the remake. And then I looked it up and it's like something about like someone's mother was murdered by like a murderous clown, and then something happens, and then they like drive off the bridge. It was like a twist on the original, but like yeah, it's pretty much a remake. It looked stupid. It's like really lowly rated on Letterboxd. I mean, hell, it's a 1990s remake of a 60s classic horror film. So,
plot description, according to just Google. When she was just a child, Alex Grant watched her mother die at the hands of Louis Seagram, a sadistic carnival clown. Alex knows that Louis will be getting out of prison, and she fears for the safety of herself and her younger sister, Sandra. One day, Louis attacks Alex in her car and forces her to drive into a river. Although she survives the incident, she grows increasingly disoriented and starts experiencing strange hallucinations.
Oof. All right, so it's get the fuck out of here. I would not. Like the first thing that came to mind if I was to remake this film would not be killer clowns. Okay.
I mean, clowns in carnivals doesn't seem like a bad idea, just not associated with Carnival of Souls. And like looking through the fucking pictures right now, none of the killer clowns in this movie look very killer.
Yeah, I don't know. Just don't remake horror classics. Just don't do it. Yeah,
unless you're John Carpenter.
Yeah. I don't know. Was the original Thing like a classic?
I don't know. I don't think it's supposed to be a bad film. I just because they're watching the original Thing on television in Halloween, but yeah. But yeah,
that's about it. I gotta say for Carnival of Souls. I really loved it. I think it's pretty great. I'll definitely be rewatching this in the future. Great short runtime. I really like short movies. I mean, I love long movies too. I mean, fuck, Satan Tango is like one of my favorite films ever. But like, I don't know, a good like 60, 70-minute long movie like Tetsuo or like this. I don't know. It's just it hits differently. But yeah, I'd give it like a solid like 8 out of 10. And it's solid. Great film. I'd recommend it.
I did find this really actually creepy image. I don't know in what context it appears of the fucking demon she sees in the remake. It looks like something out of Hellraiser to me. Looks like something very, very out of Hellraiser. That guy on the fucking back looks like Butterball.
Yeah. What the fuck? But yeah, also, fucking Hellraiser Hellseeker is a remake as well. Except for Pinhead's in it, so that was funny. And also, as for my favorite scene, I would say my favorite scene is the when she's in the church playing the organ, and her hands become like possessed, and it's like she's playing without wanting to, and she's having the visions of the dead dancing. I love that.
I think my favorite scene was the ending, so I could turn it the fuck off. I'm kidding. We're not talking about Hellseeker, right? Right? Hellseeker?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But seriously though, I think my favorite scenes again the same as yours for this movie.
Mm. Uh, yeah. That's about it I gotta say for these. So now is usually when we get onto our question segment. We aren't going to be doing the question segment anymore for now.
No, because we wish to focus on different aspects of the podcast and want to have a bit more focused aspirations and not trying to like fucking jump at everything at once.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like we've kind of leveled off quality wise for the type of episodes we're putting out or the kind of content we're doing. Um, which isn't exactly a bad thing, but I just kind of like to change some stuff up. So one of the big major changes, I guess, to the podcast is we're going to be starting to do these episodes bi-weekly. I might actually clip this and make it as like a separate little thing in case people don't listen to the episode, just so they get like an update. Yeah, we're gonna start doing these episodes bi-weekly instead of every week because I kind of feel like we're starting to do filler episodes more, which I'm not really happy with. I don't think that really I don't know. I'd rather put out quality episodes every other week than try and put out something every week and be putting out mostly filler episodes.
Yeah.
And just I want it to be quality. I want it to be something that I'm happy with, and I just want to be I want to continue improving because, like, for a while when we started out, it was a bit, it was rough around the edges. We didn't really know what the fuck we're doing. And then it started getting better. At least I think it did. Then we just kind of leveled up, and we've been kind of at the same level for a few months now. And I don't know. I just want to change some stuff up and continue on. And I'm not planning on, or I'm planning on continuing this podcast. I assume you are too, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna leave the podcast anytime soon.
No. Yeah, like I do want to continue it. But I just rather make some changes and to make sure we're actually making good content. That we're happy with. And we're gonna be changing some stuff up. So yeah, we'll be bi-weekly. We might not be doing the questions anymore, or we might be. Maybe we'll change it up so it's a bit more interactive with the to all you good listeners out there. So it's not just us giving answers. Maybe we'll change it up. I'm not really sure. For now, I'm not exactly sure what we're going to be talking about next episode. Our next episode will be in the new year, 2022. So this will probably be our last episode of the year. But we are planning on doing a movie collection video for the YouTube. So that will be it'll be a video, so it'll only be on the YouTube. So unless you're already on there, go check that out. It should be out. I'd like to get it out before 2022. But I'm not really sure. It might work out that we end up doing it in January, but for sure it will be within the next month. So look out for that. But in general, we're just gonna be making some changes to stuff, and let's just end this fucker abruptly.
Oh, well, I gotta take a shit, so see ya.
That's a good ending. That'll be the last thing for this year.